The debates tonight, 9 o'clock. Join us now with a state-level view of the presidential race and what he's looking for from the candidates. New Hampshire Republican Governor Chris Sununu. I guess I could have written this intro, Governor. We know we don't want to bury the lead. You were on this show multiple times as a backer of Governor Haley, Ambassador Haley, and you've got plenty of criticism that you leveled at former President Trump over the years, over the months and years, but yet here we are. You think that Trump is a better choice for president?
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, elections are about choices. When you go into the ballot booth, you don't have a debate with anyone. You're filling in this box or that box, and
binary.
That's where it goes. And so it's binary. So there's a lot of folks that clearly don't like Biden, wish there was a better choice, but will probably hold their nose and vote for him. And same with Trump. They don't like a lot of what he's done and in terms of his approach and all of that sort of thing, but they want change. And I think that's what this election is about. Can Trump connect with voters, especially on a night like tonight, and connect with their anxieties, if you will, to say, look, if you want to change, if you want to feel better about your economic situation, then you got to actually come out to vote in November and kind of be part of that action. So I think he has got a huge opportunity to do it. He can't just say, hey, inflation's bad, right? He's got to bring some solutions, right? Talk about controlling spending, releasing some energy to get the energy costs down. Talk about a free market in healthcare. He's got to bring some type of solution here that people will understand very simply, that people will understand. And if Biden sticks to the same talking points of everything's fine, the economy's great, clearly that hasn't worked for him for the first 3 years. If he sticks with that message tonight, he's in real trouble, and people are going to get very frustrated very quickly.
And, people need to grow up, obviously, and realize, because a lot of people would point fingers at you and say you're a sellout or whatever. Just like, but what about Democrats that know full well that President Biden is probably past the point of the toughest job in the world 4 or 5 years from now is probably not what most Democrats would pick. They're behind him 100% because they have to be. And you need to, as a Republican, it shouldn't shock anyone that you're behind the party's candidate. But I still need to ask you, Governor, you had a lot of character issue problems with President Trump. Do those still exist? And I've had people tell me, look, policy is one thing, but the country's going to survive bad policies. It might not survive a dictator or whatever. You've heard all the rhetoric from the other side.
Yeah, so look, I'll say this. Every criticism I've ever laid at Donald Trump, I stick behind it 100%. I mean, I do. But at the end of the day, what you have there is folks judging other folks' priorities, right? For some families, inflation is a priority, immigration is a priority, how they deal with their schools is a priority. For some families, January 6th was a disqualifier. I don't judge anybody for that, don't agree with it, but I don't judge anybody for that. Everyone has to stop judging each other's rank of priorities, and every family's different. And every family is going through anxiety. Some people say, well, Trump's on trial, so we shouldn't elect him. Guys, nobody is staying awake at night worrying about the trials of Donald Trump. But they are staying awake worrying about how they're going to pay their rent and how they're going to pay their groceries. And you have to respect that. You have to understand that. And that's why Trump is doing so well. Because when you're gaslighted by the actual president, who's telling you that your economic worries, all that credit card debt that you have, isn't really a big deal and you should be fine with it, that gets people really, it shows a disconnection, and it gets people just really ticked off that there's no empathy or sympathy from those that have kind of affected the problem. So that's where Donald Trump has an opportunity tonight to connect on these issues. I think he should say something simply like, look, we're going to get, and I think the Fed is largely responsible for this inflation problem, by the way. I think Janet Yellen is an absolute fool. And I think if Trump went out and said, we're going to get rid of the people that were in part of this problem, right? We're going to drive change. We're not just going to talk about a problem, but actually bring an answer. The other thing I want to harp on a little bit is Trump has an amazing opportunity to harp on the international issues tonight, right? He can very simply say, there wasn't chaos in the world when I was president, and look what we have now. We are a world leader, and look where we are today. And that's a very simple message. So if he can keep the message simple and make sure that Biden, who, as we all know, is a guy that's going to be up past his bedtime, if that guy kind of gets under Trump's skin, it'll show weakness. So Trump can't let Biden get to him. He's probably going to take a little bit of his frustration out on the moderators, I imagine. I imagine we'll get a few mic cutoffs tonight. That might be kind of interesting. But he can't show that he's getting rattled by a guy that he thinks is too old for the job.